Welcome to my studio upstairs in my home. After 30 years of doing shows and living here in the art world in Portland, I finally decided to apply to Portland Open Studios. So my first year, you can't come to my house, so we're going to try to make it seem like this is a house that you have just walked into. So I want to thank Open Studios for giving us the publicity and helping us out with the logistics of this. And I want to show you my studio, but I will do that at the end. Right now, I'm going to do a demo of oil and cold wax, and I'll do it in stages. So let's begin. My husband Ken is doing the photographing now, and so I'm nodding to him whenever he needs to do something different. So, can you see here, I've got a palette set up next to my board, and this is what I want to use. Here's some some warm colors, and here's some cool colors. They are all mixed with oil paints and cold wax. And this is a Gamblin cold wax. It looks like a little bit of car wax. It's made of beeswax and some resin and one other product that's escaping my mind right now. So I want to show you how I mix them. I actually just put down a little bit of that, and then I put down the oil paint I want. And so I'm just going to put down a little bit of that and take about the same amount. You use about 50-50 and mix them together. And it changes the texture and the look of the oil. It dulls it a bit, so it's got more of a matte finish. So then after you have that done, you are set to work with it on your boards. I'm just going to make sure that we are live here. And is anybody writing anything? Is there anything writing? I'm going to take the phone away from Ken, and I'm going to make sure that we are live. People are waving. Sorry, just wanted to check out the technology there. So hi everybody that's waving. And I'm going to start with this board. I have 3 boards set up. This board here has just got a base undercoat of acrylic first, and then some oil paint and cold wax over top of it. And it's set up for about a day. These 2 are going to be my next steps after we do this, because oil and cold wax still takes an awful long time to dry. So you use these little palette knives to mix it up or to spread it. I'll just spread a little here just to show you that. If you spread it with the palette knife, you get this really nice textural look. This is a transparent orange. And then I take a little, these are called Messermeyers. They're scrapers. They're used sometimes in the kitchen. And if I want to get rid of this in some way or tone it down, I just lightly go over it. First, I'm going to set up a pattern though. So I'm going to take some whites and start moving them around. Not to worry, this base is just that. At some point, we'll see some of it shining through the painting. everything you're looking at is upside down from what I'm doing. So we've got some whites spread around, and what I want to do is make sure that I spread out the colors in a way that balances the whole paintings. So I'm going to keep going with that. I'm going to add a little this transparent orange and the white mixed together so beautifully, especially when they're done over dark. There's kind of an Indian yellow. This is going to be mostly a warm painting, and I'm going to add in different cool colors towards the end, or maybe soon, I don't know. A lot of this is very intuitive. When I first started doing this, I realized that this was one of the messiest mediums that I could possibly work with. I've gotten a little bit less messy over the years, but at first it was all over me, all over my clothes, all over everything. So it takes a while. The learning curve is a little longer than some mediums. So now you see we've almost buried that area below that is dark. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to bring in some of this magenta, which is really a beautiful red. Anybody asking anything? If you have any questions, I believe Ken will be able to read them to me.
No questions yet.
Okay.
Just lots of comments. Gorgeous. Messy is good.
Messy is good. You feel like you've done something, right? Okay, these colors, you see they blend together really, really nicely. So while I let this sit a little bit, I'm going to make some texture below. I'm going to do that by using Gamsol, which is a solvent that you mix with oil. I'm just going to sprinkle it around, and while that waits, it has to set up for like a minute. I'm going to continue with the top part, and you can see what the color does over dark. These are transparent colors, many of them. The whites are not, but if you have a question, just say so. We'll try to answer it.
Here's somebody who says, how can you concentrate on your painting and talk at the same time? I could never do that.
You know, it's a challenge. And I don't know the answer.
Yummy already.
Oh?
You are a master.
Oh, that's really nice. So here I'm going to take the squeegee and run over that area that I dropped the Gamsol into. And you see it picking up some of the paint where the drops were. Giving it a lot of texture. And if you don't like it, you can go back in and drop some more in there. You can cover over it if it's too much. We'll keep going. I'm going to bring some light yellow up into here, getting ready to add the cool colors. Okay. Bring some of that white back in. I'll show you another little trick.
And I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
The question is, the first layer was acrylic, question mark. I thought it wasn't compatible with the wax.
Aha, that's a good question. Well, acrylic can be put down first, and oil and cold wax can be put over acrylic and will bond just fine, but you can't put acrylic back over oil and cold wax. Also, this is a different wax than what you use for encaustics too, and that is certainly the case with encaustics. So I'm going to take this tissue paper, scrunch it up, and let's bring out some more texture. Or maybe drop in what I just took off. It makes a really pretty paper. Now I'm going to take some of the cool color and bring it in. This is really just serendipity at this point. You don't know exactly what you're doing, what you're going to come up with. It's a way to put down the layers, and you may cover over those layers, or you may lift them up underneath. So there, I just added some cool color. I'm going to put a little blue in there too. That covered over some of the texture, but not much. I didn't need all that texture. Let's go ahead and see if we can add some darks in there. I've got some dark gray made up. I might bring in some black later, don't know. Again, this is really the first layer of the painting. This is not where you stop. If you get really, really lucky, you can come up with what you want right away, but that seldom happens. A little bit of Gamsol again. I'm going to let that sit there for a moment. So I'm going to show you the next one here. I was supposed to make these all sort of alike, but that didn't happen, of course. So this is one that's got 2 different sessions on it. So you let this one sit for at least half a day, if not just overnight. I'll go ahead and take that Gamsol off now. Yeah, there's some nice little bubbles showing up. If you want to use something to write into the painting, I think I mentioned before that all my paintings end up sort of organic, and that's okay. I like that. But they're never going to be realistic. They're just going to be an essence of organicness. Okay, so I cut right back down to the dark right there. I'm going to let this guy sit and go in here to the one that's already been worked on. That was the front of it. And I'm going to come in again with more of the same paints. I'm kind of using the same colors. So one thing I've learned is don't ever worry about messing something up. If you do that, you're just not gonna be able to be successful in enjoying it, I think. Whoever said it's hard to talk and paint is absolutely correct.
So I have several comments here.
Uh-huh.
Looks like you really use a light touch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're too heavy with it, then you start scraping it down really far below. Now, I can use a heavier touch with this now because this is dry. But on the other one, yeah. But the other thing is that when you use a light touch like this, you can create a lot more texture. So what if I just went like this? You see the texture you get just... Is there another question?
Let's see. The periwinkle swish, Mark, is fabulous.
Oh, let me tell you about that. Thank you. I have to get it out. This is using R&F paints, which can be used for many, many things. I learned about them when I was when I started doing encaustic. And they go perfectly well with this. They're oil paint sticks with some beeswax in them. So, R&F. And this is one I got recently, the periwinkle. Let's go ahead and drop some in there too. It doesn't take very well in wet paint. So, this is, I think, very pretty color. And you can put it down and leave it just like Mark's and just be happy with it. Or you can go in and fan it out.
Here's a note from Chris Jensen.
Oh.
The kids are enthralled. Or entranced, I'm sorry.
Thank you,
entranced.
Grandkids. So I'm going to leave that there. And going back in with just a little bit more of that magenta.
And I have another question for you.
Okay.
Your website has 4 different paintings.
Huh?
In mediums. How often do you switch back and forth between them? Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I just sometimes get tired of doing the same thing and just want to do something different. But how it goes generally is in the summer, I take the oil and cold wax downstairs in the house because this studio upstairs used to be an attic.
And I have a question again.
Uh-huh.
Oil sticks with beeswax, yes?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're called R and F. And I have many, many colors. You can get them.
Let's show another stick. Just
show another stick.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to...
All right.
With the label up. There we go.
Yeah. Neutral white. That means it's not cool and it's not warm. It's just neutral.
Just right.
So if I wanted to take this stick and move it around down here, and then just add some more if I want it. I generally use just the paint when I'm doing white, unless I'm trying to make marks.
Here's a question.
Okay.
How many more layers does this one have left?
I have some that are so heavy that, I mean, they have many, many layers. Typically, the layers come not all over the whole painting, but they come in bits and pieces for me. I would say, let's just say 5 or 6, because you change things a lot.
Here's another question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever use brushes when you're working with cold wax?
That's a very good question. I don't.
And you have 9 minutes left. by the way.
Okay. I don't. So, it's just too thick. If you look at this, it's just too thick to get around a brush. Oil painters do it all the time, of course. I'm going to leave a little time at the end to go around the room and look at my paintings, if you don't mind. We were going to pretend that you're here. So right now, this one has changed quite a bit. Even the periwinkle swishes have gone away.
Another question. Do you have to seal the painting when done?
You do not. You do not. But you do have to let it dry for an awful long time. I usually let mine dry at least 3 weeks before I would let it leave the house.
And here's somebody who says, I'd love to see your paintings.
Oh, okay. Well, you can see my paintings on my website, SueJensenArt.com, and I have one area there that's for Portland Open Studios, and one area that says storefront. Many more are in Portland Open Studios, but I want you to go see them. That would be great, and answer any other questions. But now we're going to go around and look at the paintings on the wall, if that's okay with everybody. Okay? Ken is going to take the camera over to the first painting on the wall. Now that is called rock climbing. And I only have 2 or 3 actual acrylics in the show. This is 36 by 36, and I did a sort of movement through this painting online at one point, but I finally took it down to show you the progression of the painting. But this is the finished product here, and it is acrylic.
And the numbering system.
Oh, I put numbers on them in case you wanted to ask any more questions about them.
Like there.
So we only have 7 minutes. So more oil and cold wax. This is called Autumn Path.
And its
Let me go
size.
across the top. This is oil and cold wax. This is called Puppies. And this is also oil and cold wax, and it's called Mysterious Path. All these down here are acrylics, which I do about as many when it's not hot up here. So these are called the Colors of Sweden, and they are 8 by 8. This is called Party. It's got a lot of gold in it. I have some gold in these paintings here. And this is one of my favorite little 8 by 8s. And that is called Golden Bouquet. This is Garden Patch, also acrylic, also encaustic. This is called Gardening Vibes. And these two kind of go together, but can be separated. Floral Cascade 1 and 2. So does anybody have any questions yet?
Problems.
Did you all go away? Okay. I only got 5 minutes. All right, this is one of my newer ones too. This is called Down the Mountain, and it is an oil and cold wax. It has a lot of colors in it. If you can get any closer. And this is called Mountain Talk, sorry. See all the jabbering that's going on there? That's a bigger one, 24 by 24. This one here is called On a Walk. And I liked using the gray within it to make the other colors bounce. That is 16 by 16 or 18 by 18, not sure. And that's another one of the same side called Somber Pleasures. This one here I've gotten some questions about. This one is called Take a Glimpse. And it is also oil and cold wax. And a little bit more quasi-realistic than the other ones. And this one is called Pathway, also oil and cold wax. Getting close here.
3 minutes.
Okay. Here's an encaustic. This is called Peaceful Cove. And this is another one whose name is escaping me now, Southwest Morning. And this is one that I've done in acrylic again. So it's called Climbing 2. There was a Climbing 1. This one is called The Falls, and that's one of those ones that I had kind of luck with it only having a couple layers. If you were asking about the layers, so I kind of just stopped with it because I liked it where it was. This is one I started out with intention, because most of them I don't, of making it a scene via water, and of course making it in an abstract way. And the neat thing about this piece is, I think, is that it kind of looks better. I mean, it kind of looks good both ways. I'm going to skip along and show you some of these small ones, because I have a number of encaustic small ones here. And I'll show you two more, and then I think I have to stop.
You have 2 minutes.
This is called The Gentleness of Flowers. And this is another Peaceful Cove. So I hope that you get to a lot of the talks that are on Portland Open Studios. They're very interesting. I've been watching them all day. And keep on going. There's just today, tomorrow, and next weekend, both days. And my website again is suejensenart.com. And I'm going to thank you all for coming. It's been fun. So, bye.
Right at the beginning, you got a phone call.
Very bad. Why would you do that?
That went really well.
I can't stop it. Am I still on? End.